Behind the scenes of the NFC East, something is happening that Eagles fans need to follow closely, my friend. A former assistant who helped build one of the most dominant defenses in Philadelphia's recent history has just taken the most important coaching position on the most famous rival team in the country. And when reporters asked him about his connection to the Eagles, the answer he gave says a lot more than it seems. The man wants to erase the Philadelphia DNA, but the real question is, can he? I am going to break down who this coach is, what he built behind the scenes at the Jefferson Health Training Complex, and why this story matters for the Eagles' future in the NFC East. But first, if you are a true Eagles fan, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel right now, because the news connecting Philadelphia to its rivals is exactly the kind of thing I never let slip by. Let's get into it. The name is Christian Parker, 34 years old, brand new defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. And yes, before arriving in Dallas, he spent the previous 2 years in Philadelphia as the cornerbacks coach and defensive passing game coordinator under the legendary Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator who helped build the scheme that led the Eagles to the Super Bowl title. When reporters from The Athletic went to Parker and asked whether the defense he is putting together in Dallas would be an extension of what was done in Philadelphia, his answer was direct and unapologetic. Parker made it clear he wants no comparisons. He said, that is their defense, that he does not want anyone calling it the Eagles' defense or Fangio's defense, that they have been very intentional about the entire process, from the language they use to the workflow they follow, and that it has been a lot of fun. Now think about this with me. When a 34-year-old coach, in his very first experience as a defensive coordinator in the NFL, goes out of his way to publicly say he does not want to be compared to the Super Bowl champion team, what is he really communicating? He is trying to create his own identity, which is absolutely understandable and necessary for any leader starting out. But at the same time, by explicitly naming the Eagles and Fangio, he inadvertently confirms what everyone already knows. The defensive DNA he carries comes directly from Philadelphia. And that DNA, my friend, is extraordinary. But before we talk about what Parker built in Philadelphia, it is worth understanding the road he took to get there, because it is not the typical path. Parker is a Virginia native who played college football at the University of Richmond. He went straight into coaching and spent 7 seasons working as an assistant at the college level, Virginia State, Norfolk State, Texas A&M, and Notre Dame. That is a grind that most people never see, moving from program to program, building a foundation one meeting room at a time. In 2019, he made the leap to the NFL with the Green Bay Packers as a defensive quality control coach. From there, he spent 3 seasons as the defensive backs coach with the Denver Broncos from 2021 through 2023, working under 3 different head coaches in that span: Vic Fangio, Nathaniel Hackett, and Sean Payton. 3 completely different personalities, 3 different philosophies, 3 different ways of running a program. That kind of experience at a young age is rare, and it is exactly what made him appealing to Dallas. Now let's talk about what Parker built while he was with the Eagles. During the 2024 season, still under Fangio's coordination, Parker worked directly with 2 rookie cornerbacks who arrived in the league without great expectations of becoming immediate starters on a contending team. The names? Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, an outside cornerback and a slot cornerback. 2 second-year players who in 2025 were both named to the NFL All-Pro team. All-Pro in the C, just their 2nd season in the league, in a defensive scheme that the Eagles rode all the way to the championship. That does not happen by accident. It happens when a defensive backs coach knows how to identify talent, knows how to develop technique, and knows how to insert young players into a sophisticated system without overwhelming them. Parker was a central piece of that process. And it was exactly that track record that made the Dallas Cowboys go looking for him in early 2026. Ian Rappaport of NFL Network was one of the first to report the move back in January. He called Parker a rising young coach, landing in a big spot with a division rival. And Jeremy Fowler of ESPN added that Parker's in-person interview with the Cowboys front office was described internally as very impressive. But why did the Cowboys need such a dramatic change at defensive coordinator? The answer is in the numbers, and they are devastating. In the 2025 season, Dallas finished with a record of 7 wins, 9 losses, and 1 tie. They missed the playoffs for the 2nd consecutive season. And on the defensive side of the ball, the Cowboys were the 30th ranked defense in the NFL in total yards allowed, 30th, out of 32 teams. That alone would be bad enough. But in pass defense specifically, the situation was even more critical. Dallas was dead last in the entire league. The worst team in the NFL in the category that most defines games in the modern era of professional football. The defensive coordinator who preceded Parker, Matt Eberflus, was fired after just one season on the job. The Cowboys' defense looked genuinely lost on the field. No identity, no communication, none of the aggressiveness needed to compete in the weeks that truly matter. And that is the situation Christian Parker walked into. The task placed in front of him is enormous. Transforming the worst defense in the NFL into a competitive unit inside one of the most watched and demanding organizations in American sports. The Cowboys are not just any team. They have one of the greatest histories in the NFL, one of the largest fan bases in the world, and a media environment that does not forgive mistakes. Any coach who works there is under a permanent microscope. But there is one factor that makes Parker particularly interesting for this role. He spent the years leading up to his arrival in Philadelphia, working with Vic Fangio, one of the greatest defensive minds in the history of professional football. Fangio built a system based on multiple safety reads, creative pressure from the linebackers, and a cornerback identity that allows defensive backs to play with aggression and confidence. It is a complex system that takes time to install, but when it works, it is devastating. And Parker absorbed that system for 2 full years in Philadelphia. That experience, combined with everything he learned under 3 different head coaches in Denver, is rare for someone his age. And it was almost certainly a determining factor in the Cowboys' decision to hire him. But what does all of this mean for the Eagles in 2026? It means the fiercest division in professional football just got even more complicated. The NFC East is always a high-level battle, with the Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, and Commanders facing each other 6 times per season. And if Parker manages to install a functional defensive scheme in Dallas, even if it is only a partial version of what Fangio created in Philadelphia, the Cowboys could return to being a real obstacle on the Eagles' road back to the Super Bowl. Now, can Parker actually pull it off? And how quickly? Let's be realistic. Turning the league's worst defense into a competitive unit does not happen in 1 year. Dallas will need better personnel, time to install the system, and a learning curve that could be painful early in the season. On top of that, the Cowboys still have unresolved questions on the offensive side of the ball that will not disappear overnight. But the path Parker is trying to walk is clear. Build his own defensive identity in Dallas, separate from Philadelphia's shadow, while inevitably being shaped by the lessons he learned there. He wants the Cowboys players to feel that this scheme belongs to them, not that they are trying to copy what the Eagles do. That is locker room psychology, and it is smart. No player wants to hear that he is trying to be an imitation of another team. They want to feel that they are building something new, something of their own. And that is exactly the narrative Parker has been pushing since day one. But while he builds that narrative, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean remain in Philadelphia, ready for 2026 as 2 of the best cornerbacks in the NFC. The man who coached them is in Dallas. And the Eagles, with Vic Fangio still running the defense, continue to carry the most sophisticated and battle-tested defensive system in the conference. What will Parker accomplish with the Cowboys in 2026? Will he manage to separate his defense from the Eagles' identity? Or will the season prove that the Philadelphia DNA is harder to erase than it looks? And more importantly for Eagles fans, do the Cowboys return as a real threat in the NFC East? Or is this just another Dallas reinvention attempt that falls short? Leave your take in the comments. Do you think Parker has what it takes to transform the Cowboys, or are the Eagles still so far ahead of the rest of the division that it simply does not matter? Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back later with the latest Eagles news. Fly, Eagles, fly.